We live in a time where students have Google for every question but still struggle to find the meaning behind learning. Grades are higher, gadgets are smarter, yet peace of mind is missing. So, what went wrong? Maybe we forgot the philosophy behind education. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Teachers Wisdom. Today we are exploring a powerful topic, philosophy's role in modern educational challenges. In simple words, education philosophy is the study of how philosophical ideas shape education. It tells us why we teach, what we teach, and how should we teach. According to John Dewey, philosophy may be defined as a journal theory of education. For example, when a school adds value education, life skills, or yoga to the curriculum, that's philosophy in action, educating both the mind and the heart. So, in a gist, we can say education philosophy means a systematic study of education from the philosophical point of view. It connects theory with practice and help educators understand the purpose and value behind educational actions. Now we will discuss the nature of education philosophy with the help of example. First, normative nature. It tells us what ought to be in education, like setting ideals and values. For example, deciding that education should promote honesty and empathy is a philosophical decision, right? Then, logical and reflective. It helps teachers and policymakers think critically and logically about education. For example, when school question whether rote learning truly helps students, that's reflecting their thinking. Third is comprehensive. Basically, it covers every part of education, aims, curriculum, teaching method, disciplines, and evaluation. Next is dynamic. It evolves with social and technological changes. For example, adding digital ethics or AI awareness in school shows philosophy adapting to modern time. So now we will discuss the scope of education philosophy. The scope of education philosophy is wide and it touches the every corner of education. Let's see how. Aims of education. First point, philosophy helps decide what kind of human being we want to develop. Example, should education create job seekers or responsible citizens? Second, curriculum. It guides what subjects and values to include. For example, a curriculum that balances science with moral studies reflects idealism, realism, naturalism. Then, teaching methods. Philosophy decides how teaching should happen. It can be authoritarian or democratic, or it can be activity based or lecture based. Example, pragmatism supports learning by doing, seen in project based learning. So, it varies from your situation to situation. Then, discipline and values. It defines how to build moral character and classroom discipline through love, not through fear. So, love is important. Next and last point is teacher student relationship. Philosophy views the teacher as a guide and mentor, not a dictator. Example, in existentialist classroom, students are encouraged to express individuality and make their own choices. Modern education challenges. Let's understand these challenges one by one with the help of examples. Education today faces many serious issues, not only about what we teach, but also how and why we teach. Let's understand these challenges one by one with real relatable examples. First is decline in moral and ethical values. Modern education often focuses more on marks and careers but less on character and values. Students may know how to crack exam but not how to handle emotions and honesty or empathy. This is very true and relevant thing in today's scenario. Example, a student cheats in an online test and feels no guilt. This shows how moral development is ignored. Philosophy reminds us that education must build both intellect and integrity. That's why to understand the deeper thought about philosophy is very important. Over dependence on technology. Technology has made learning easier but has also reduced real communication and thinking. Students rely on Google or AI for answers instead of developing their own reasoning. For example, during group projects, some students just copy from ChatGPT or YouTube without understanding the topic. Philosophy helps us use technology wisely and ethically, but not blindly. Next is your inequality in excess of education. There is still a big gap between privileged and underprivileged students. Some have access to modern resources, others struggle for their basic facilities. For example, a city student learns coding in a smart classroom, while a rural student lacks electricity or internet. Philosophy of democracy and equality reminds us that every child deserves quality education. Neglect of emotional and mental well being. Modern education often measures success only through grades. The fear of failure leads to stress, anxiety, and even burnout among students. For example, a student preparing for board exams studies day and night but still feels depressed and worthless if they don't top the class. So, philosophy helps redefine success not as competition but as self growth and inner satisfaction. Next is global and cultural identity crisis. Loss of cultural and human connection, we can say. Globalization and digital life are making students forget their roots and tradition and social relationship. For example, children may know about global celebrities but not about their own local heroes or cultural values. Philosophy helps restore cultural identity and their respect for the teachers or maybe for the respect for the tradition of others. Last point is job oriented rather than value oriented education. Today's education system often focuses only on getting job, not on developing emotional balance, empathy, or even civic values. For example, a student might get a top engineering job but still feel lost or disconnected in personal life. Philosophy reminds us that education should prepare us for life, not just for livelihood. So, next is philosophy's role in addressing these challenges. First is defining the purpose of education. Philosophy reminds us that education is not just about making a living, it's about learning how to live. Example, idealism promotes moral education, pragmatism promotes practical skills, and both are needed together. Second is curriculum development. It balances knowledge and values, theoretical and practical learning. For example, introducing environmental studies or ethics in school curriculum is philosophical guidance. Next is teaching and learning. We can connect curriculum development and teaching learning point together, and we can say that it balances knowledge, values, and theoretical as well as practical learning. Then respond to technology. Philosophy gives ethical direction for using digital tools. Example, teaching digital citizenship ensures think before they post or share. Next, promoting equality and democracy. Education inspired by John Dewey focuses on participation, inclusion, and respect for diversity. Shaping reflective teachers or guiding teachers, philosophy trains teachers to think deeply about their methods and goals, to be guide of wisdom, not just delivers of content. So on the screen you can see the various philosophical approaches with their relevance in today's scenario. If you don't know the difference between idealism, realism, pragmatism, existentialism, I have already made one video on the difference between all these terms. With the help of examples, I have explained the whole video, so you can go and check the video. So, in a conclusion, we can say philosophy act as a soul of education. It reminds us what while technology can make students smart, only philosophy can make them wise. Education is not just about collecting the information, it's about building character, purpose, and humanity. So, whether you are a teacher, student, or parent, always ask, is education helping us become better human beings? If yes, then philosophy is truly alive in our classroom. So, thank you for watching my video. If the video made you think differently about education, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your one like always motivate me to make more videos. Thank you. Have a nice day.